Hey, this is Justin Prime. This is Jprimecast episode 1. I'm an artist in California. I am currently working on a couple different projects, which I'll go much deeper into. The first one is Sculpture Stories. It's a sci-fi futuristic ninja epic that I do completely on my own. And the next one is a work in progress, Astro Pig, more of a kids thing. And also doing this podcast. I have a YouTube channel. So a lot of stuff. Mainly, I love to draw comic style, and Venom is definitely a favorite of mine. This is my first podcast. I don't do well with just talking. I don't feel I do that very well at all, which probably seems counterintuitive. But I'm going to kind of do a little mental trick for myself, and rather than talking to nobody, I'm actually going to talk to someone. So I'm going to go to my Instagram feed, the news, not the news, but my recent interactions, and I'm going to look at the first person that I see on the list, which is the last person that gave me some sort of interaction. Someone liked my recent Yoda post. This is Sophie Lincoln, username niamh.lincoln1. So I'm going to be talking to Sophie. That's going to help me have someone to talk to. So Sophie, hopefully you're listening to this, and yeah, hopefully this works out. I feel more. I don't know. Hopefully this works out. I feel more comfortable. I don't know if you guys ever. I'm old enough to where I know what Reading Rainbow is, and they used to. I think it was Reading Rainbow. They used to do this thing at the end of the episode where they would look through like a magic wand and name names of kids that were of just kids, and as a viewer of Reading Rainbow, you would hope that they would say your name. And it was like the best part of the show. It's the one thing I remember really. I guess reading books, but it was just an incredible moment of like waiting. Maybe they'll say my name. So I don't know. Doing this kind of reminds me of that. So I'm talking to Sophie. So this podcast is my attempt. It's really for me. It's to kind of keep myself in check, to take my inventory in a way, my artistic inventory. I of course want you to benefit from it, but it is kind of my way of keeping myself honest. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to be talking about some stuff that I'm working on, but I'm not just going to talk and advertise it. The point is just to talk about what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, kind of where I'm at. And I think if I do this once a week, that'll set up a nice pace, and that'll make me check in with myself every week. And I did it this week. I mean, before I started recording this, I looked at where I'm at, and I kind of gave myself an outline, and I'm already disappointed. So yeah, I think this will be really helpful for me, and I'm honestly really curious, for the people listening, where you're at with your projects. You know what I mean? So, feel free to hit me up. I'm really curious, and if me being honest and open about where I'm at helps you in some way, I'd love to know that. So let's talk about the projects that I'm working on. Just a kind of brief rundown of what I'm actually working on right now. There are, let me see, I think three or four main things that I'm working on, which is probably too many. I had stopped doing conventions, and the reason I stopped doing conventions was so I could focus on Sculpture Stories. I even stopped doing prints, really. And I've ended up taking on a whole bunch of new stuff, and I keep doing that. I think I have a hard time focusing on one thing at a time. I think it's pretty common for artists. Anyhow, so the first project that I'm doing is Sculpture Stories. I'm currently working on issue 3. It's completely written. I actually rewrote it. I started from scratch and rewrote it. Because I wanted to kind of push myself in a new direction and really focus on backgrounds. So I rewrote it in a way that's going to allow me to really flex my artistic muscle in that direction, which I'm not good at. Well, I can't say I'm not good at it because I don't really do it. It's just a way for me to force myself to work on that and to make it count, because it's in issue 3, to work on backgrounds and extra characters in the panel and stuff like that. So it's all that non-obvious foreground stuff, if that makes sense. So with issue 3, I completely rewrote it with that in mind. I'm working on, oh my god, the designs for pretty much the entire thing. I'm like, well, I'll get to it, but the designs for the main characters, there's some androids in there, for the world, it's just like it's everything. I'm in the design process of things right now, and that's where I'm at. I'll talk about my stumbles next. The second project that I'm working on is Astro Pig. It's a kids thing about a pig in a spacesuit who goes on these adventures into different worlds. I have written the basic page structure and kind of what images I want per page. It's not a comic book. It is a more of a kids thing. I think adults can enjoy it, especially if you like my artwork, especially that more sketchy pencil style I've been doing recently. So the outline, it's past the outline. I know what each page is. I've written out the what image I want for each page, and I've started to actually write the words that I want for each image. But so that's where I'm at right now. So decent progress. I'm kind of reaching out for some help with that from someone who is really good at writing kid stuff and kind of brainstorming creatures and whatnot. That's a big part of Astro Pig, actually, is the creatures and the worlds and really flexing my imagination there. So I'm doing that, but I'm also trying to enlist some help with that from my younger brother is incredible with that stuff. And the next project that I'm working on is this podcast. If this is the first formal structured podcast where I'm actually talking to you guys, but right now I'm talking to Sophie. But otherwise, I have a bunch of interviews. I'll be doing JP reads on these. There's a lot of other audio stuff that I think will be helpful for any artist that's listening while they work. And hopefully you're working on something, not just listening. So the podcast, I'm working on that now, as well as uploading, YouTube stuff. I'm editing and uploading stuff to YouTube based on the interviews that I've done. A lot of stuff. And then the fourth project that I'm working on is just my artistic growth. I've recently made some targeted efforts to improve myself. I am right now focusing on shapes, forms, but most of my attention has been going toward values, highlighting, and shadowing. And that's the fourth project. That's kind of where I'm at right now, is working on values, both digitally, with pencil, with marker, and so different ways, and really trying to practice that in different ways. So those are my main projects. I'm going to go into what I've been stumbling on, like what are my blocks, what I need to work on, what I'm stuck at. It's really easy to go into this. I think a lot of us as artists can beat ourselves up pretty easily. So I'm going to do that. I got to, be honest with myself. And I'll go into some of what I'm doing well also, because that's important too. For Sculpture Stories 3, issue 3, I have no idea what anything looks like. I kind of do with the main heroes. I know. I kind of I've on my feed I've posted a couple times of what I think their faces look like, but I'm not totally sure. I don't know what their suits look like. I don't know what their colors are. I don't know what the androids look like. I'm having that contest right now, but I think there's a couple of designs that I like a lot, but I don't really know what that looks like. I don't know what the android city looks like. I have no idea what kind of weapon. I know what kind of weapons I want them to hold, but I don't know what those look like. So it's like I have the skeleton of, I have the script, but I don't have the specifics of the script, like those details that actually in my script really, really matter. So I'm stuck there, and I haven't made much progress in that in a very long time. I think I really neglected that. I'm spending a lot of time on other things. So Sculpture Stories has taken a back seat to other things that I'm doing. The second project is Astro Pig. What I need to work on here is I have no idea what the narration, what the words, what the voice of the book is. I mean, I kind of do maybe, but when it comes down to writing it, I there's a big mental block. With Scolder Stories, it has flowed really easily. With Astro Pig, I've never done a kid's book, and I don't know if I want to like go on, full on kids book, or if I want to do, maybe a little bit more lengthy, wording per page. If I want to keep it simple, if I want to have alliteration or all that crap, like I don't know, and I'm stuck there, and I need some feedback. So I'm consulting my brother, like I said before. But that's kind of a big deal. That's kind of a big part of a book, is what it sounds like, and I feel like I'm pretty much coming up empty on that as of this week. But I do feel like I've made progress there. I did. Yeah, I mean, this week I spent some time with the script per page, and I feel like I made some progress there. With the podcast, I'm nervous about it. Like this is brand new to me. Talking to I doubt anyone's gonna hear this. I'm probably talking to myself. That's why I'm talking to Sophie, actually. So it's it's nerves. It's something new. There's tons of unknown here. This is a scary process for me. I'm definitely more of like an introvert. So yeah, the whole idea of doing this, which is exciting, but there's tons of mental obstacles that honestly, like, I'm just fucking doing it. It's never gonna be perfect. I'm never gonna be able to plan it perfectly, so I'm just doing it. And I gave myself a deadline, which was tonight, 10 o'clock at night on Sunday. It's the end of the week. So it makes sense to reflect on the week. But I'm just kind of going at it. Anyhow, so the next one, the fundamentals. I've got some stumbling blocks with my fundamentals. I feel like it sucks. I feel like everything I'm doing sucks. It just sucks. It's not nearly good enough. I feel like there's growth, but it's not good enough. And I feel like I'm letting down. There's a guy, Carlos Mendoza III, who is kind of giving me a little special extra attention, kind of like a mentorship mentee way, and he's allowed me to kind of hit him up and get some feedback from him. And it helps to know that I'm accountable to someone. That helps push me, but then I also feel like I'm letting that person down. And of course I'm not. I know Carlos is super cool about my growth and encouraging and honest, but that's just kind of like a mental block I have, is feeling like I'm letting down him, and that it sucks. But that's I think it's just my own issue, because I am growing. I know I'm growing. I see it. I do see that I'm growing. But one thing that I could do better, I haven't done yet, but I need to use real life to grow from. I'm trying to like create it in my head, like when I'm shading or giving value to a muscle, on Venom. I'm trying to think about what it would look like in my head, and really I should just look at references online, or hold that, find that kind of shape that I need, hold it up to the light, and see what the fuck it looks like when it's lit. But I'm still doing these shortcuts. I think that's kind of what it is. And I know I'm still kind of faking it. For a long time I was faking a lot of what the anatomy and shading and whatnot. I was doing it good enough, but I was faking it. And I think even though I'm learning some fundamentals and I'm practicing them, a part of me is still faking it, like I'm doing shortcuts. So those are some stumbles. Those are some blocks right now with my main projects. But I do have some successes, and I have to acknowledge that, and so I will. For Scolder Stories 3, I'm doing an Android design contest, and it's a lot of fun, and there's been some really cool submissions. There's a couple that I feel like would work really well. So that's kind of a relief. and I get to engage with my followers in a new way. I'm connecting with people in a new way, and it's really cool the DMs that I get from people saying that they've been like stuck in a rut, and that this contest is like inspiring them to do something new. Like, that's fucking amazing. I swear, by the way, yeah. Apparently, I'm not even gonna censor myself at all. Whatever. So yeah, I think that's a success is the contest, and like being honest about where I'm at. Like, I need help, so I'm just putting it out there to people. Like, I need help, and I think actually in my when I posted it for the first time that I was doing a contest, I think I said I need help. So I think it's a success to realize that I'm stuck here, and to be able to be humble and ask for help. And I think I'm definitely eating some humble pie with issue 3. I know I need a lot more help. But for now, the Android design contest is cool, and it's running through, what's the date today? We got 3 more days, so that means I'm gonna have to pick in a few days. Wow. All right. Yes, that's been a big success right now. Is that honestly, also with each issue, I'm doing a different character. The first one was Nix. He's a Caucasian. He's like 18, I think. Kind of spoiled brat. And in issue 2, that reminds me, I have to do a director's commentary for issue 1 and 2. For issue 2, it's Misako. She's a 50-ish Japanese woman. And then for issue 3, there's a twins. They're like 32, 33 years old. They are... Where are they from? Well, they're black, but I think they're from... I don't know if I have them from America or not. I think it's from like the UK or something. So, yeah. So, drawing, for me, like, it's been a success to draw different nationalities. Like Masako, I think I did okay drawing a Japanese woman. But I don't think I've ever really tried to draw like black people accurately or like faithfully, So that's a success, feeling like I've grown there. And what was really cool was a couple people DM'd me or left a comment saying like, hey, they're black. Like, even though they weren't colored in or anything like that, the facial features I got accurate enough. So that's a success, I feel, on a couple of different levels. Okay, Astro Pig. Success is the outline is done. It does have I do have like a tone that I want to go for, which is kind of like this innocent, almost derpy Winnie the Pooh kind of thing. It's fun. It's a book for everyone. I think those are all wins. I'm really excited about where it's going. I feel like I'm gonna knock it out of the park once I get the words down. But even if I don't have the words down, I know the images. I'm gonna fucking kill it. I'm really excited about that. Long way to go. Long way to go. But I think it's gonna be cool. Number 3, the podcast. Some successes here. It's new, and I'm tackling some insecurities. I'm like growing. I'm maybe not right now this moment because it's the first time, but I will. Like, I don't have a choice. Either I'm gonna grow or I guess recede back into that insecurity of talking to people and about myself, and I don't want to do that. I want to grow. So yeah, that's a win. Just doing the damn thing right now, I feel like is a win. Talking to Sophie has really helped out a lot. Sorry, my outline here. And I get to create more content. Something I've really been working on a lot is creating more content. Not just the podcast, but on my Instagram, I'm doing lunchtime requests again. So I'm creating more content, but content that's also engaging with my followers. It's extremely important to me that I make connections with my followers. And I hate calling them followers, but, the fans. I have fans, I guess, yeah. That's super important to me, is engaging with you guys. Like, I have no idea what my art life looks like after today or in a couple of years or whatever, But I do know whatever it is, like I want to be connecting with people. I get a huge rush from knowing that I've made someone happy. Not made you happy, because I don't have control over your feelings, but to know that I've, connected with someone on that emotional level where they're feeling what I'm doing. That it's an incredible feeling. That's kind of what I'm going after right now. I don't make much money off this stuff at all. It's not a huge goal of mine. It's nice, but creating content, engaging with you guys is a huge deal for me. So that's a big success for me, and hopefully this podcast is part of that. And also with the podcast, a big win is that I'm keeping myself accountable already. Like just talking, during the last 20 minutes, I've had to acknowledge a couple things and say it out loud, and now it's real, and now I got to do something about it. Otherwise, I don't know. It doesn't look good for me. Yeah, it's just time to grow. I gotta. I'm fucking. Good Lord, I'm 37 years old. 37 years old. It's time for me to face some things on an artistic level, and grow. Yeah. Okay. So fundamentals, some successes with my fundamentals. I know I've improved. I have improved. Like I have, and people are telling me that. Like it's so cool that people are leaving comments and DMs saying like they see me growing, and I feel like I'm being true to the style I have created up until now, if you want to call it that. Like I'm still feeling like I'm drawing true to myself, and that what's coming out is me, but I'm like upgrading it. Like I feel I'm doing that, like it's happening, and I'm not satisfied, but I'm pleased so far. Overall, yeah, I am. But the negative thoughts kind of take over. But yeah, I have improved. That's a success. Yeah, I won't take away anything from that. I'll leave it at that. I am feeling more confident in my skill. I am feeling more confident when it comes to values. Overall, I'm feeling more confident while also noticing that I have some blocks there. And honestly, like another big win is that I'm hungry for more. I like being excited about growth and having that kind of like that growth mindset, student mindset. I'm embracing that and not getting, just being humbled, It's nice to feel humbled while also feeling growth at the same time. And a huge win from working on my fundamentals is I'm not faking it anymore. I kind of am. But overall, I'm striving to be real, like to really understand what the hell it is I'm putting on paper or on the screen, to really understand anatomy better and values, like for real, Not, I feel like I've faked it up until this point. So yeah, those are the projects that I'm working on right now. Some wins, some successes. That's it. And that's kind of, I probably should told you my outline ahead of time, but there's a few more things I'm going to go into. But yeah, I mean I call that taking my inventory. Like that's where I'm at, and I need to do something about it. I probably should do more planning, like planning out like through the week what I should work on. Ugh, fuck, I probably should. I don't want to. I probably should. More on that maybe next week. All right, so tools I'm using. Yeah, I really should have told you guys. So that was like the first half. Actually, I don't know if it's first half because I don't know how long it's going to go on for. But the next things I'm going to go over are what tools I'm using to kind of give you some feedback on what I'm using and see if give you an idea of what you might be able to use as well. Obviously, I want to talk to you about who I'm impressed with, what follower I have noticed in a positive way. What has inspired me recently. All right, so the tools that I'm using, you probably already know this, but I use a new Surface Pro. It's the newest Surface Pro from Microsoft. I do not have an iPad Pro. Everyone has that. I used it once, and it was fucking amazing. It was super fun to use. But I have the new Surface Pro because I want to be able to use any program that I want. And the iPad Pro does not. It uses apps, not programs. Incredible apps, no doubt, but not full programs. I want the full programs. I don't want to be restricted in that way. So I'm able to use like the full Clip Studio Paint, Sketchbook Pro, which seems the same on iPad Pro, honestly. I don't know if there's any difference. But what is really cool about the Surface Pro is that it comes with like this Xbox app thing, and I use the Xbox Game Recorder. It's really easy to use, and you can record anything on the screen by just hitting Windows G and then pressing the record button. And that's how I'm recording my lunchtime requests, and pretty much anything I do digitally I'm recording now, because I want to have a lot of content for my YouTube channel and Instagram. But the Xbox Game Recorder is super handy. I think the iPad Pro recording on, Procreate is handier, but the Xbox Game Recorder is phenomenal. On top of that, I downloaded something called Movie Maker. Apparently this used to be standard for Microsoft, but they stopped, but you can still download Movie Maker. And Movie Maker has this ridiculous time-lapse function. And like I use iMovie on my iMac, and the iMovie has time-lapse. You can speed things up, but only in increments of like 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. The Movie Maker is able to time-lapse things however you want. So I could put by 11.73 and it'll time lapse by that speed. So I'm able to get things onto Instagram within a minute, to time lapse things within a minute or up to a minute, whatever. Really, really easily. I export it onto my desktop and then upload it to Instagram or YouTube, and like bam, I made a video for Instagram really, really quickly. So what I'll do is I'll do a lunchtime request, which gets the engagement, and then and it's fun. Like I love doing those. It's super fun, and I get to practice. But with one drawing with lunchtime request, I'll do a sketch of it. I'll video record it, right? The sketch of it and the video both go on to Instagram. That's content right there. And then the video will go on to YouTube, which is also content. And I can also upload both of those things to Vero, which I'll talk about in a minute. But just from one sketch, I can create a few different types of content. So yeah, the new Surface Pro with the Game Recorder and Movie Maker is very, very handy. I'm sure whatever you use will have some app or something that can function similarly, but I'm absolutely blown away by how easy, and the Movie Maker's time lapse. I love it. All right, tools I'm using. Number 2, Anchor. For podcasts, I'm uploading this to Anchor. Anchor is extremely easy to use, and they have some nifty musical transitions and whatever. So that I've started using Anchor. I like it a lot. I like how easy it is. I think I was really kind of intimidated by the idea of doing a podcast and learning all the software and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But Anchor's made it really easy. I could actually do a podcast directly into my phone. I wasn't too satisfied with the audio quality of that, so I'm using my, this is called a Snowball Ice microphone, which plugs into my desktop. Another tool I'm using, which I like a lot. Yeah, and then, so I've also used Anchor as a way to re-upload my YouTube stuff to this, so that after this podcast, you can go listen to some interviews that I've done with people. Yeah, so there's lots of really cool stuff on Anchor. And then Anchor apparently automatically publishes this stuff to other platforms, which I'm not totally sure about, but it's like Google and iTunes, and a couple other ones. But yeah, so Anchor I've been pretty damn happy with. And then the third tool that I want to talk to you about is Vero. This is a brand new social media app that I jumped onto on like Thursday or Friday. This weekend, fucking everybody's going over there. Every artist that I'm following is jumping over there, which is cool. At first, I was trying to make sure I followed every single one of them, but like so many people are jumping over that I'll find y'all eventually. So I'm really, really excited about Vero and the potential that it has for me as an artist in particular. I'm not using it for like friends and family. That's what I use Facebook, my personal page for that profile. I mean, Instagram I use for art inspiration. I follow people that are, inspiring me. and obviously I share my own artwork. Instagram is my main one, and probably will continue to be my main one. I have a Facebook page, which is more of a personal thing. It's art related. It's all art, but the relationships that I have on Facebook are more. I've developed some good relationships, good client relationships on Facebook. Some really really good support there. So Vero, I think it's got a lot of potential, and I'm hoping that I can kind of create a stronger bond with my fan base on Vero, because Instagram, fucking man, it's great obviously, but the vast majority of my fans don't see what I do unless I pay, which means like I can't complain about that, I guess, but there's a better. I think there's a better option out there right now. It just lacks the people that are signed up for it. But that's apparently happening. It looks like at least there's a shit ton of artists that are going over there. I like the categories thing. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to use that. I'm accepting any and all acquaintance requests at this time. But I think there's 2 more tiers. There's friends and close friends. I want to reserve those for people that have either bought something from me, so I can kind of engage with them directly. And then like for the friends, and then close friends are people that have maybe bought something from me and like shared my artwork or encouraged people to buy from me, or like have gone to that huge extra step of being super supportive. I'm not sure, but it'll be something like that, because I want to engage with those people, those big supporters, in a different way. Like if you're one of them, you mean a lot to me, and I want you to know that it's extremely important to me that you know that, and that I treat you that way. But I for acquaintances on this platform or DMs I get on Instagram, everyone gets the same. I've responded to everything. I don't ignore anyone at all. Okay, so Vero, I'm already seeing more engagement with followers because they don't pick and choose what you see. You just see if you follow someone, you see what they upload in chronological order, which is how it should be. And I'm already noticing that I'm getting more engagement with a higher percentage of people following me. It's a small number right now, obviously. On Instagram, I'm at almost 9,000. On Vero, I'm at not even 100. So, obviously, a huge world of difference, but I already see an improvement. And I'm hopeful about it. And there's no ads on Vero, which I fucking love. I can't believe, like, Instagram, the amount of ads seems to keep going up and up. And, like, again, I can't blame them. I can deal with ads, but they started doing this thing where they're like recommending posts to you. I don't know if you noticed that, but basically what Instagram is doing is they're not letting me see the stuff that I want to see from the people that I follow by like not censoring, but by sort of picking and choosing what I see. And then they're showing me things that I haven't asked to see in advertisements and recommendations. I mean, there's a lot of worse things going on in the world, but it's just one of those annoyances where Vero doesn't have that, and I like it. Vero will cost money, but if you signed up, if you're one of the first million, it won't cost you anything ever. And I was one of those, so I'm really excited about that. We'll see what happens once people have to start paying them. And everyone's going over to Vero, which I've already said. So I'm really excited about Vero. All right, who I'm impressed with. This is where I pick someone I'm following, it's just someone I'm following on social media that I'm just kind of impressed with. And I'm picking this week Dion Knuckles. He is a ZBrush. He's an artist. He's done some professional comic work, I believe, back in the 90s. It's been a while. But Dion, if you're listening, I got that wrong. I apologize. What he's doing now, he's on Instagram at least, he's posting just absolutely amazing ZBrush 3D sculpts. And he did a bunch of Sculptor stuff just out of the kindness of his heart, and just fucking amazing. So like doing the fan, I mean, I don't want to call it fan art because it's just professional quality. It's amazing. But he did these incredible sculpts of male sculpture, female sculpture based on what I sent him. And he gave it the armor padding his own twist, and I liked it a lot, and I'll probably steal that shit from him. But then he made this incredible, like, scene where there's three Scourgers, a guy, a girl, and like a big guy Scourger, and they were defending this huge crystal, and he incorporated that into the weapon technology that the Scourgers use, and it's just blue. It's so cool. And then I've seen him do. I don't have it up right now to look at it, but he's doing another fan art thing. I think it is. He's done a couple of them, but the dude is just. It's amazing, like, to be able to look at his. You can actually look at his stuff and use it as like anatomy references. He does a really good job. But he's just blowing me away. He's absolutely blowing me away on an artistic level, but like on a personal level, to just do that for people and not expect anything in return at all. Like, I feel like I'm indebted to him. Dion, I'm indebted to you, man. Like, I'm super impressed with you. I don't know if that means anything. And he comments a lot, very supportive. I think he's responded to everyone that's left him a comment. He is extremely underfollowed. Please follow Dion Knuckles. I think it's Dion.Knuckles, Nuckols on Instagram. Please follow him. He's a ZBrush artist, I'll call him right now, and his ZBrush is totally giving me a Z boner. Alright. Next segment. What follower I noticed in a positive way. I'm going to pick a follower from I keep forgetting the name. Vero. I keep forgetting the name of the new app. Social media app. Vero. This is a follower from Vero. I've already met a couple people on there and had some conversations in the DMs, and it's cool, man. I like it so far. But Ian Walker, he seems like he's got a number of things going on. The thing that caught my eye was he did this really cool map, and I think it was for like a D&D kind of thing. Ian, if I got that wrong, I'm sorry, but I just off the top, I'm just trying to remember. But it was just like he had created this map, like it was just, of this like continent, and he had labeled what what the areas were and where the mountain ranges were and stuff, and it looked like visually like really cool, like just kind of like this hand-drawn map, like an old school hand-drawn map kind of thing. And I commented how cool it was and told them like that was something I was struggling with creating my worlds, and he volunteered to help me out. I will not hold you to that, Ian. Like, I don't expect you to do that, but he seemed genuinely interested in what I was doing, and so for him to volunteer to do that was really cool, and just to talk to me about it and stuff. But he also, like, he wanted information about my worlds, and I, gave him the Scourgerpedia on my website, and I wrote out some quick information about 2, 3, and 4 Echo, my worlds. So talking with him kind of forced me to think about what my worlds look like, who lived there, stuff like that. So just having that talk with him kind of inspired me to step up my world creation game. So I appreciate that, Ian. Thank you. I hope you follow through with it, but I won't hold you to it, man. But then also Ian does this thing called, or he does his own podcast. It's called The Stuff Podcast Show. I watched a couple of them on YouTube, and I liked it. It was, I don't listen to podcasts. I've never listened to podcasts at all, honestly. I know what they are, obviously, but I don't listen to podcasts. I've listened to Bill Burr but on YouTube. But I don't go to iTunes or whatever platforms there are and just listen to podcasts. Yeah. So I gave his a chance because he said he does one, and he sent me. I asked him where it was on YouTube or whatever, and gave it a listen. And so that kind of gave me an idea of what a podcast could be, and I really liked. He seemed like a very authentic, real. It was personal. I liked the feel of it. It was cool. It was cool. It's called The Stuff Podcast Show. He covers a number of different things, very general. But he, Ian's got a good personality. He seems like just a good person, So, yeah, I like Ian. Ian Walker is his name on Vero. Give him a follow. Check out his podcast, The Stuff Podcast Show. Ian, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for talking with me and inspiring me, dude. Yeah. And then what has inspired me recently, besides Ian and Dion, The person that has inspired me recently, and honestly for quite a while, is Gary Vaynerchuk, at Gary V, Garvee. I think that's his name on Instagram. He's a business owner, entrepreneur. He runs Vayner Media, Vayner Sports, but he's kind of become known online as like this entrepreneur, like guru, social media guru, and that totally downplays it because he that doesn't do him justice. Motivational speaker also doesn't do him justice. That's not really him, but I know he hates that label, but he's very inspiring, very motivating. So Gary V, he really helps me to think about my content, what I'm doing, and he's got some really cool messages too about being positive, giving people more value than they're giving you, like a 51-49 split. So Gary V just in general has inspired me to become a better person, artist, and social media, personality, I don't know how you want to call it, but presence, social media presence. He's definitely a big inspiration for me. I definitely recommend you check out Gary V or Gary Vaynerchuk. He's got like 5 New York Times best-selling books or whatever. Yeah. So I think the big thing is to create more quality content and to give more without asking people for something in return. I give my fans, opportunities like the Sculptor design contest, the Android design contest. But I try not to bug you guys for money or selling shit or whatever. It's more about, like, at this point, my focus is to create as much content as I can and to engage with as many of you as I can. That's seriously my focus. Yeah. All right, so that's the main portion of the podcast. Oh, one last thing I will throw in, what I'm reading right now. I've been reading through the Ultimate Universe. You're going to hate me for this, but I don't buy comic books anymore. I know I'm an asshole, I know you're supposed to support the industry or whatever, but I don't want to collect them. I don't want to own them. I don't want them taking up space. I have a ton from like childhood that I can't throw away, and it's just this emotional attachment. I hate it, but I can't throw them away. So I don't want to keep piling up comics, so I'm sorry, but I read them online. And yeah, I know you're going to think less of me, but I allow people to read my stuff online for free. It's for free on my website. Issues 1, 2, and 1.5. Actually, issue 1/2, issue 1, issue 2. They're all for free, digitally online. So I'm not a hypocrite. All right, don't give me shit about it. So I'm reading through the Ultimate Universe. I've read the Ultimates, all of them. Ultimate Spider-Man, phenomenal. Now I'm reading Ultimate Fantastic Four, which has been okay. It's not blowing me away like what the Ultimates did, or Ultimate Spider-Man, but Ultimate Fantastic Four seems okay. I know where it ends up because I read the Incursion stuff. I forget what it's called, Cataclysm, where the universes collide. So I know where all the Ultimate stuff ends up, and I'm really excited to see how Mr. Fantastic goes to where he goes. Really excited about it. But yeah, it's been cool. I think I'm more excited about where it goes, and I hope I don't get let down.